In the wilderness, I have found myself riddled with starvation, thirst, and no way of getting help. As I stagger from the shore, it's important that I find myself a decent way of surviving the ruthless tests of Mother Nature. Sources of food, lighting fires, and escaping the reaches of wild animals. This is BLUESHELLED, Survival Edition. All the blocks just form this way, and all the zombies start running this way. Imagine the best of Minecraft and DayZ thrown into a blender and ingested as a lovely smoothie. Well, this game would be the residue, Unturned. A great survival game to play with your friends online who want to try something a bit new. Well, I say new as in recent, not new as in concept. The game is clearly inspired by other popular multiplayer games, but that doesn't make the game totally bad. In fact, it's quite nice. Not so nice when your vehicle is being bukkake'd by zombie flesh though. As I try to make my way home on my own 100% Bear Grylls approved and improvised survival guide, I'll be running you through the basic building blocks of Unturned and its zombie-based survival multiplayer action. If you're facing the screen right now, some games might make you turn away in disgust. Well, let's hope this one leaves you unturned. Unturned was developed by Nelson Sexton and made in Unity. Like a lot of games out there, Unity's been super helpful in paving the starting ground for developers. In fact, you might remember Slender, the 8 pages if you're into games that are only relevant for a short amount of time. But Unturned is different. I guess this game is going to get more popular as the years go on. Nelson Sexton is Canadian, which also gives me hope for this game, but he also used to be a developer of Roblox, so it does kind of balance out. But Unturned, as you'll have seen in the game footage, is very much inspired by the style of Roblox. It's blocky, and I like that sort of style. Fair and square. Or fair and cubed, shall I say. As I said before, Unturned has zombie survival gameplay, also letting you craft weapons and supplies. But it's also open world, so you'll find campsites, villages, and even airports. And additionally, you've got skill boosts, which can help you level up your skills in cooking and farming. So if you failed your courses in hospitality and agriculture, this will be the game to help you redeem yourself. Virtually. There's a lot to sink your teeth into, but only if the zombies don't sink their teeth into you first. Right, let's see how I'm doing in the wilderness so far. Out in the wild, you'll have to find a reliable source of food. If you look next to some fruit trees, you might find some apples. Some of them come in stacks. Or, in case you need to call for help, you might be in luck by finding a cell phone dangling from a branch. Then, you can call a takeaways and ask for a pizza to be on its way. There's your food sorted for the night. Back to the review. If you feel like you need a tutorial for the game, don't worry, you'll have a good introduction to the key essentials to survive. You will learn to jump, crouch, shoot, and drive. Unturned spawns you in a random place on some random continent in some random setting. Or it could be a custom map made by players, but where's the fun in that? You could try out the randomness of it all. So far, there's Washington, or Prince Edward Island, or the Yukon, or North Korea. Of course there's no North Korea, I'm only kidding. Additionally, it's also important to find some places to pick up weaponry, ammo, and food. You'll also find some vehicles on the way, and if you get fast enough, you can knock over zombies. It's so fun, like it's Mad Max Zombie Road. And when you get out, unfortunately, the fun stops, because you'll have to shoot down the posse of undead that come pawing at your knees. The awesome thing is that if you pick up the weapon straight away, you can get right into the action. You won't be totally hopeless if zombies are at you right off the bat. And when you do knock down a couple of zombies, you will gain experience to boost your skills. And the same for cooking and farming, like I said in the background knowledge segment. And of course, you can craft. A skill extremely important to sustaining your survival. But you don't craft just tools and small objects, no. Think bigger. Houses, in fact. See? Bigger is better.
Big is good.
And the crafting seems to be very specific to certain needs. For example, clothes can be broken down as cloth, which can be torn down into rags, which can be used to patch injuries. That sort of thinking is quite a nice breakdown of the survival gameplay, so that's a good cookie to chomp down on. Metaphors. In fact, this game came in handy when I was out in the wild, so here's some handy crafting survival tips. These are genuine recipes in the game, so keep them in mind when you next play Unturned. 3 wooden boards plus 1 nail, 1 wooden shield. 1 battery plus some scrap metal will give you a hand lamp. And of course, 3 wooden supports plus 2 ropes will give you the advantage of a bow. And yes, it really does work. Oi! I want to further address some of these levels because they can really lead to some interesting places. It might not be great to rock up to the fuel station and let some lead loose into the zombies. Considering the flame threats according to Health and Safety Clause 106, that is not the brightest idea, but in a survival situation, it could be the barrier between life and death. I also think some of the animations in this game are nice. For example, you can cut down a tree and see it fall like this. And you can also see the wood chunks scatter around the ground. That's a nice touch. On one of the maps, Prince Edward Island, you'll come across a cave called the Pirate Cave. And sadly, there are no pirates. It's just a hideout, with no bloody items even in it. So what's the point? Nothing, really. It's just a cave. But it's called the Pirate Cave, so it's cool. I hope they update this cave to make it a bit more fruitful. I mean, maybe have some items spawn in it. Or maybe expand it out a little bit. But so far, all you can do is just use the cave as a useful shelter. So consider that. Shelter can be quite an important part of Unturned. So I remember my encounter with the cave on my venture through the wild. Out here, it's important that we have to find some sort of civilization. So, we need to find a beach. If only there was one around here to find. When you're in the wilderness, it's important that you find a sort of shelter. When you're in the wilderness, it's important that you find a bit of shelter, like this cave right here. I'm going to crawl through so I can get to the other side. See you here. Fucking hell! Some of the creatures you can find in this cave can be quite hostile. Look at this stable but able spike maestro. It's not moving, but those spikes can lead to some serious consequences. In 1939, one injection of the toxins from this spike was so excruciatingly painful, it drove German leader Adolf Hitler to start the invasion of Poland. Likewise, we don't want something like that to happen ever again, so just on the safe side, let's get out of this cave. The swimming engine is something I'd like to see expanded on. More aquatic creatures or some improved swimming controls because... Speaking of which, water's one of the key things you'll need to find access to, and you'll need that to revoke your thirst. Similar to that of needing food to stop hunger, or needing clothes to stop cold when you're in the winter maps like the Yukon. Water can be found in streams or springs, as well as Thomas the Tank Engine dolls. Let's not overlook the multiplayer. Nothing too over the top, but very easy to use. You can mod servers to have certain rules, so basically like other online games, there's not much to talk about that's new. When I first played it with my mates, it took a while to get the servers running properly, but then again I was trying to connect to a server made by people from Ireland. So a connection from New Zealand to Ireland may have not been the most genius idea I ever came up with. Alright Ricky, let's play some Unturned. Okay, yeah, let's shoot some zombies down. No, you gotta get the weapons first. What kind of weapons? I don't know, the AK-47. Mate, I think that accent is quite offensive to anyone that's Irish, and I think you should stop now. Why? I don't think I should stop now. Seriously, we're gonna get so much trouble. There's a lot of viewers that watch me from the UK. No. They can just harden up, okay? Mate, that is the worst Irish accent I've ever heard in my life, right? Okay, you sound like Jedward on crack. Who's Jedward? Oh yeah, you think that's offensive, eh? You think that's offensive? Pint of Guinness, potato, diddly-dee. Right, that's it. No, sorry, you're out. You're out of this place now. Overall, so far the gameplay is slightly primitive compared to other games of this genre, such as DayZ and Minecraft. But Similar to those games, Unturned is constantly getting updated, so it's safe to assume that more and more goodies will be added to this game in time. It is in early access mode after all, and even right now, it's a nice survival game, so there's no rush. Unturned has some great music tracks to act as background music. They add some sort of ambient and comforting atmosphere to the gameplay, so while you are keeping track of the zombies that are coming after you, you can gladly still have fun whilst doing it and not feel too panicked. After all, while this game falls under the survival horror genre, I wouldn't consider it too focused on the horror aspect. One certain song in the soundtrack, which used to be the main theme, is a remix of Tears in Heaven by John Fleming, and it embodies this atmosphere in spades, and axes, and guns, and swords. It's important to know that a song like this is more than just a song. It's a way of getting motivated, and I love that. It would also, I imagine, be a good way of generating energy. If you manage to harvest some of the background music, you can actually convert it into fire using this handy tool. Watch this. Okay, maybe that isn't actually possible, but I love this music track. It's a lovely song to go with Unturned. I tried to find more songs from Unturned, but it is rather difficult, as it's also the name of a song performed by Europe, and it's also the name of a song in the Dark Knight Rises soundtrack. Both instances totally irrelevant to what I'm even talking about in this review. Later, I found out there are no other music tracks in Unturned, which is a shame. I hope along the line more songs are added to help bring the game to life. Right, I think around now I should be getting closer to civilization. Let's see how I'm doing. We're approaching a bridge, and therefore, civilization. But wait, you gotta make sure that under the bridge, there are no trolls.
Hi, how are you?
Before reaching civilization, we have a final obstacle. Not only is climbing an important part of Unturned when you scale trees without ladders, but you'll also need to climb rocky slopes. If you concentrate well and find the right place for grip, you'll master this art in no time. It takes time and patience, but you'll get there in time. Alright, back to Unturned. Let's see what rating this game gets. It is a game in its early stages, and it has a few fair glitches and some emptiness here and there, but it's because of this that the game is able to be updated now and then to add bigger and better things. So, certainly looking forward to that. Looks like whilst I was able to survive the wilderness, Unturned was able to survive the green light stage. Well done.
What's that? Look.
After finding signs of civilization, we approach the end of our journey. It's been a long day, but after this long without Wi-Fi, it's been worth the effort. Remember, if in doubt, don't go out. Stay inside and you'll stay alive. I am MasterJakeStudios, and I promote an end to this video.
That's it! The Pokemon segment! It sounds like you need a break. Why not book yourself a holiday to the sunniest resort in Unova?
and is actually highly considered not only one of the best albums the band's ever come up with, but also one of the best albums of 2000. That's the year I was born. That's brilliant. I feel like a special kid. A special kid, eh?
Some were a little bit turned off by the fact that the guitar only appears in like 3 songs for the album, and Tom York's lyrics are so hard to understand unless you're reading along, calling for some very awkward misheard